There are cities that were built for eternity, not in the way empires boast about eternity, not in marble and proclamation, but in that no invasion, no flood, no government neglect, no suffocation of traffic and smoke and noise will undo what was placed here thousands of years ago. Madurai is one of those cities, one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities on earth. While Rome was still a collection of hills and mud huts, Madurai was hosting literary academies. While most of the ancient world was still figuring out governance, Madurai had poets arguing about the nature of beauty. It is also today one of the most chaotic, congested, polluted, and administratively abandoned urban centers in South India. Today I am taking you to the city of Madurai in Tamil Nadu. Madurai appears in the records of ancient Greek and Roman geographers. Megasthenes mentioned it. Strabo mentioned it. The Pandya kingdom, one of the oldest surviving dynasties in recorded human history, made it their capital and ruled from here for centuries before the Common Era even began. The city sits on the banks of Vaigai River. The name itself comes from Madirapuri, the city of nectar. The story goes that Lord Shiva shook drops of nectar from his matted hair here, blessing the land. Three Sangams, the great ancient Tamil literary assemblies, are said to have been held here across thousands of years. Tamil literature, as you know it, some of the most sophisticated classical poetry in any human language, was argued into shape in this city. The center point of Madurai is Meenakshi Amman Temple. The original shrine was founded by King Kulashegara Pandyan after Lord Shiva appeared to him in a dream. But the legend of Meenakshi herself begins with his successor, King Malayadwaja Pandyan, a king without an heir who performed a great sacred fire ritual. From these flames, a 3-year-old girl emerged. 3 breasts. The gods told the king she was an incarnation of goddess Parvati herself and that the 3rd breast would vanish when she met her true love. She was raised not as a devotee but as a queen, a warrior queen. She led armies, she conquered kingdoms. Then she reached Kailash and saw Shiva. The 3rd breast vanished. Shiva followed her south to Madurai. He became Sundareshwarar, the beautiful Lord, and they took their place as the ruling deities of the kingdom, together as equals. What you see today as Meenakshi Amman Temple was built in layers across centuries, cleared the ruins and rebuilt the core structures in granite. Then came King Vishwanatha Nayakar in the 16th century, who redesigned the entire city into concentric squares radiating outward from the temple. The lotus design, made real in stone and street. Then Thirumalai Nayak expanded it into a colossal 14-acre complex. The iconic 1,000-pillar hall, the Ayiram Kal Mandapam, with 985 intricately carved pillars. The 14 towering gopurams, the tallest stretching 52 meters into the sky, covered every inch in thousands of painted mythological figures. From a distance, they look like carved noise. Up close, every figure has a face. There's a ritual here that has been performed without interruption for centuries. Every evening around 7 o'clock, the Palliyarai Puja begins. The bedtime ritual, the sanctum closest to the public. The inner chambers are prepared. And then, in a procession of priests and traditional music, the idol of Sundareshwarar is placed in a palanquin and carried through the temple halls to Meenakshi's shrine. The husband comes to spend the night with his wife. The doors are closed. They are left to rest. Every morning, before the first prayers of the day, Sundareshwar is returned to his own sanctum. And every Friday, the ritual deepens further. Both deities are placed together on a beautifully decorated swinging cart and gently pushed. The divine couple at rest, rocking together. The next biggest attraction in Madurai is Tirumalai Nayak Palace. King Tirumalai Nayak built his palace in 1636, a short distance from the temple he had expanded. Even in ruin, it staggers you. The Swarga Vilasam, the audience hall, has columns 60 feet high. The plaster work was done by Italian craftsmen. The dome, the arches, the scale. This was a king who wanted Madurai to compete with any city in the world. He died in 1659, and what followed is a study in how quickly power undoes its own inheritance. His grandson, Chokkanatha Nayak, shifted the capital north to Trichy, and when he left, he didn't leave empty-handed. He dismantled the entire Rangavilasa wing, his grandfather's ceremonial section, and carted the materials away. The carved woodwork, the jewels set into walls, the ornamental stonework taken to Trichy to build his own palace. The palace never matched what he destroyed. The craftsmen were gone. The vision was gone. He had the pieces, but not the knowledge of how they fit together. What stands in Madurai today is roughly a quarter of what Tirumalai Nayak built. Today, there is a light and sound show. Auto rickshaws park in the courtyard. Plastic collects in the corners. This is Madurai's relationship with its own inheritance. Step outside the temple walls and the sensory shift is immediate. The streets of Madurai move like a river that has forgotten its banks. There is no pavement in any meaningful sense. There is ground, and on that ground are people, two-wheelers, flower vendors, auto rickshaws, cattle, school children, tourists, pilgrims, shop owners conducting business directly onto the road. And through all of it, the smell of jasmine and exhaust and frying food and open drains arriving all at once. The jasmine market near the temple is extraordinary. Tons of flowers traded every morning. Madurai supplying garlands to temples across the country. The fragrance hitting you like a physical force. Then you turn a corner and you are ankle deep in plastic in a street that has not been properly cleaned since the last election campaign. The Vaigai River that the Sangam poets wrote about, that carried boats and prayers and the daily weight of a civilization, runs through the city today as a concrete line drain. Somewhere under the effluent and construction debris is a river. You have to take the poetry's word for it. The auto rickshaws are their own negotiation. Meters are theoretical objects. Every fare is a conversation, sometimes an argument, sometimes a performance. The opening price is always aspirational. The final price depends entirely on how long you are willing to stand in the sun, making eye contact. In many ways, Madurai is a city of 3 million people, managed as if it were a mid-sized town of no particular importance, no history. The roads are anciently narrow. The sewage system is intermittent. Power cuts are routine. The Vaigai floods unpredictably, and the flood mitigation plan exists mostly on paper. Heritage structures outside the main temple receive minimal maintenance. The Kudal Alagar Temple, the Alagar Kovil, magnificent, ancient, understaffed and underfunded. Tourists not on pilgrimage circuit often won't even know they exist. The government's investment in Madurai seems chronically disproportionate to what Madurai generates in tourism revenue, in cultural weight, in economy it sustains. The city has been taken for granted for decades. Its importance assumed rather than actively supported. They wake at 4 a.m. and arrange the jasmine flowers. They perform the ritual every day. They carry the god to his chamber every night. They argue over auto fares. They cook on streets that should be wider. They live inside the noise and the heat and the holy chaos, and they do not leave. Because this city, for all its diesel fumes and broken footpaths, for all the plastic in the sacred river, and the palace a grandson stripped to build something he never could, this city is theirs, and some loyalty runs older than any government negligence. Come to Madurai, not for the tourist postcard, not for the clean tourist version that doesn't exist, but just to muse at history and at how it could be discarded and neglected.